It's said that life is a journey best traveled with friends.
Along the way are adventures and misadventures. But if you're Ms. Mel's friend, you'll find some Ms. adventures.
Join Ms. Mel for misadventures with friends and explore the paths of friendship.
Welcome to you. I'm your hostess, Ms. Mel, and today on Ms. Adventures with Friends, we're back on the road. We are out on location, so to speak, and we're going to be talking and visiting with my friend Danielle. Hi, Danielle.
Hello, Ms. Mel.
Danielle is my friend from the lower part of the southern states. We've already established, well, probably with my even opening my mouth, that we're in the South. And that I can't deny that, and I won't deny that. Danielle and I are friends via a common love for an organization that we're both involved with, a youth organization, and specifically a summer camp that we both have worked with. And I'm on location at camp visiting with friends this week, and Danielle took a few minutes out to chat with me, and we're going to talk about friendship.
Yes.
So be aware, you'll hear nature sounds, and nature sounds including kids screaming in their natural habitat, and we're going to just roll with it, see where we're led to have this conversation about friendship. So Danielle, why don't we just let you tell us what you think you need to look for in a friend?
Something that strikes me here in this location that you described so perfectly well, and I try to share with these beautiful youth about friendship, is make new friends, keep the old, one being silver, the other being gold. I love people. I've always been a people person since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. Ask my parents and they would tell you I would not know a stranger for some reason. Running up to people and just wanting to give them the cheerfulness that is Danielle.
And I have to interject right now that this is our lady we call Miss Sunshine, because she just exudes happiness and love and joy that runs deep in her, and we all feed off of that, and she pours it out generously. So thank you, my friend, for pouring in, not only into my life, but the lives of these other ladies that are here during camp, and the lives that you touch in this organization, one-on-one and in group settings. It's just really a beautiful thing. You're just a beautiful soul, and I appreciate you so much.
I cannot outgive the giver. What I give, he gives in return trifold. Every time. Every time. Yeah.
It's apparent. It's appreciated. And I know that these girls see that in you, and they grow from that. If you have an opportunity to sit down with these girls and talk with them, you see that they're at the ages that they are, which, we're working with girls ages 8 to 18, and some younger women that are involved with the camp. There's always an opportunity to pour wisdom into them, and you'll find a lot of times their world revolves around their friend base. As they get older, it's how many friends do you have on whatever social platform.
Yes.
when they're younger is who's your best friend.
Mhm.
And one of the key components of this camp, I'm happy to say, is building friendships.
Yes.
And been building friendships since 2007. That's a long time and a lot of friends. Tell me how you've seen these friendships grow with these girls at camp. You see them once a year.
Mhm.
You get to see them, how they've grown and developed in a year's time.
Yes.
And they come up and hug you sometimes, and you're like, "Who are you? I
Yes.
don't
Yes.
I don't recognize you because you've grown." But tell me what you've seen develop over the years with these girls.
The maturing, the refining, integrity, leadership skills, loyalty. And for me, that is a huge part of friendship. I have come to look in my friend longevity for that component of loyalty, to that going the distance of Jonathan and David, and also an encouragement factor of Mary and Elizabeth. Yes, I am going to give you the biblical view, because they are just richness that I want to share with these girls from that young age all the way up to the older age, and open their eyes to something that they may not always hear about. This might be my first opportunity to share this with them, and then see them take it out and amongst the camp setting and share it with each other, and come back and watch it grow a little bit more as soon as they see one another. And it networks. The seed's planted and somebody else comes along and waters it. And they cannot wait to be together.
I've been hanging out with this camp for a good many years,
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit longer than Danielle's been around.
Sure.
And it's been a delight to watch these girls grow up together, to develop these friendships, and to become integral parts of their adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
Being in each other's weddings, or going to weddings and graduations, and now sharing in the joys of motherhood together.
Yes.
And which it's kind of a frightening thought for me. That just I don't know. I'm not getting older. How about you?
No.
I think the girls are, but we aren't. But it's just been remarkable to watch these friendships develop. Let's talk a minute about the adults involved
Okay.
in a situation like this. I was talking with another friend that's involved with camp, and we were talking about the aspect of this is kind of like being thrown into a Survivor episode, where it's not necessarily competition, but it's you learn to sweat and glow together,
Yes, listen.
and sweat and grow together. Let's address the adult situation. Now you're in a unique position with the camp as what most people would call a camp chaplain.
Mm.
We call it camp shepherd.
Yes,
And you've got your flock,
I do.
and that flock includes the adults.
Yes. Yes. It does.
Yes. Talk about that and what you've seen with the adults in this situation. Not just staff, but the volunteers that come in for maybe only a week.
It's upon our hearts that they understand how appreciated and valued they are for having come to share their gifts, their time, their uniqueness, and are each purposed by God for such a time as this. That said, we are all human, and we will all have our moments. So, as a shepherd, we're praying for that unity, because we can unravel. I just snapped pretty quickly if we let our emotional side take the lead versus seeking first thing first, and that's God's best. And so in the message that we bring forward, we try to share to the leaders as well as to the girls something that's going to be able to transcend all ages. And I can see it happening when they're coming to me at the leader level and saying, I got something there that spoke to me. I hadn't quite thought about it in that way. I'm going to divert from your question a little bit.
Go right ahead.
Because that same message will also have reached into a younger, much younger heart. And this is only something that the Lord could have spoken, breathed into we the shepherds, into a message to transcend.
There's a special bond, I think, for most of the girls and the adults who have attended this camp over the years. This is a unique situation. You can go and be with another group of people in different circumstances, whether it be a youth group going to Six Flags or some theme park or something for a weekend and spending time together, and there are little short-term buddy friendships that develop with that. One of the things that is encouraged here at this camp is to be friends with everybody.
Yes.
But we are human, and we do have our bad side, and there are friendships, and this I'd like you to talk with me a little bit about this. This goes beyond just, the camp setting and the camp friendships that we feel like is an ideal circumstance, but out in life, out in the world, there are friendships that are draining and demanding. We tend to call them toxic relationships.
Yes.
I want you to speak to both someone younger, like, teen, high school, middle school, and then to the adult perspective about handling a toxic friendship. Do you hang on? Do you get out? What do you do when there's somebody that you really think, I like being around this person most of the time, but they wear me down?
First, we're striving to be patient with everyone. And that means that person's also being patient with me, prayerfully. And in that, we're all developing our self-control, right? Prayerfully. Um, but there are, like you said, there are toxic people, because not everyone you're going to come across is going to be a believer or hold all the values that you may hold dear to, be as far along in your walk as you are. I personally give so very much, being that people loving type of person, that it's very necessary to pull back away and get a resupply. Okay, so there's that type of relationship. And then there's division, monging, that type of a toxic relationship where you may come into a situation and nothing that you're going to do is going to bring it to a place of peaceableness, and you've taken it to the Lord. That's something we talk with the girls about, if we've noticed that in their relationships and they're struggling so very hard amongst each other. Because God would have us to love one another, and His perfect love is not spewing language, not spewing unkindness in your actions, not being divisive in your mannerisms. However, if that person is continually behaving that way, you may need to find yourself being friendly in your mannerisms and in your dealings with that person, but not being always running to them for your supply of friendship.
The way I had it explained to me one time, particularly in a work situation, was you should always be friendly, but you don't necessarily have to be friends.
Exactly.
And I think that is knowing our own personal boundaries, how much we are willing to give, how much we're willing to take. And it's hard for a lot of people to grasp onto that. I think that's a wisdom that comes with years, but it's also something that can be learned, in knowing yourself and knowing how much you are willing to give and take.
Yes.
In a relationship, to consider it a friendship. Do you have a best friend?
I have several very close friends. I do not have a best friend. My husband, I would consider my best friend. He's my beloved here.
Have any? Well, take a little turn, because we've put some heavy stuff here, and friendship is a heavy commitment.
Yeah.
It's a worthwhile commitment, but it can be a joy-filled commitment. Think for just a minute, and I'll give you a little bit of time, and you can take your time, and I can edit out dead air,
Sure.
or we can listen to nature sounds and canoe paddles going by. Think of a friend experience that just it's a favorite memory with friends that you might could share with us.
Oh my goodness. Adult or childhood?
Either.
You're listening to Misadventures with Friends.
a childhood favorite memory. She invited me to her home, and it was when I was still living up north, because that's where I'm from originally, is a northeastern state. And it was in the wintertime. She had horses, and her family had a carriage. We bundled up and we had woolen blankets, and her dad pulled us in a horse-drawn carriage in the back, and it was in the evening dusk, and for 2 hours we went on a horse-drawn carriage ride and just chatted. Had the best time. Shortly thereafter, she was part of a military family, and I'm so thankful for having that time with her. She went overseas with her family, and we lost contact for a long time. But I very much treasure those hours. It just seems to me like it's a letter tucked into an envelope that I tucked into a memory box, and I carry it with me all these years. I mean, I remember colors, I remember the smell of the night air. It's just so precious. We got back to her house. Her mom said, it's so late, I can get you some hot chocolate, and here's a tablespoon of peanut butter for each of you. Just the simplicity of the moment. Which is young, little, late. It was late elementary, and the joy of that time will not be taken away.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That is a beautiful friend memory. Have you made any new friends lately?
I have made a beautiful, deep friendship, and it's going to be a long distance type of a friendship, and those are possible.
I agree.
Yes, those are very possible. And what I love about knowing the possibility, the truth of it all, is I have another of those in my life, and she's been a long-term, long-distance friendship. Started when our children were quite young, and then she moved to a southern but middle of the states location, and I've had opportunity to visit her there, and we've adventured in her neck of the woods and had such a fantastic time. I showed her things that she never knew were in her neck of the woods because she didn't take the time to explore, and I said, but we're going to. And that was a lot of fun. But back to this new friend, it happened quite surprisingly to me. I sat down, and she asked me if there was anything she could get for me at the moment, and I was like, no, not necessarily. And
I might be willing for afternoon swim.
we were conversing about a situation that had arisen, and it networked into something of a personal nature And before I knew it, we were identifying likeness, and a vulnerability surfaced.
Tuesdays are a fixed day, and Wednesday is our chill day. We should have everything done by Wednesday. Storming, performing.
And I was prompted
Monday, we're just
that I could trust this.
Tuesday. Like
And I went with it.
because I had gotten the swim forms last,
So
on Monday night, but you know how it is on Monday.
she also must have felt that same inner prompting because she released
And us girls are trying to
something of her own,
figure things out.
and now we have a significant tie.
Come swim time, I'm trying to
And though we may not correspond with one another frequently, it may be
busy trying to
just when inner spirit promptings lead us to one another, it's going to be a vibrant, godly relationship because it's already showing itself to be that.
That sounds like a really great way to develop a new friendship. Just to just see where it goes. Let it grow. It's an overused phrase, but let it grow organically.
Yes.
And feed it as it needs to be fed, and see what develops out of it. It's amazing how our God can direct our paths in the right directions to the right people at the right time.
It was the timeliest, to the depth it went to, as fast as it went to.
Well, Danielle, I'm eternally grateful that you were brought into my path, and that you were brought into this situation that we have here with camp, and you were able to spread your sunshine around. Didn't get to see you last year when I came to visit with the camp, but I'm certainly glad that I was able to see you this year, and that even with 2-3 years passing, I still feel like we're friends.
I do as well.
And that's what knits the world together.
Exactly. We don't have to constantly be in company for a long-term friendship to be enriched. That's the golden of a friendship.
Yes. Good words, lady. Good words. Thank you. Well, thank our friend Danielle, Miss Sunshine, for chatting with us today and sharing another misadventure with me. Maybe we'll have you back at another time and chat some more. We'll find
That'd
out
be
how
great.
that new friendship is going. Thanks, friends, old and new, for journeying with us. We'll tag our friendship quote onto this when we get back into our studio. But we do ask you to give us a thumbs up and become our friend on Facebook and Instagram. Now, your charge is to go make a friend and be a friend. We'll see ya. Thanks, Danielle.
Thank you, Ms. Mel. Love you.
Each friend represents a world in us, a world possibly not born until they arrive, and it is only by this meeting that a new world is born. Anais Nin.
Misadventures with Friends is a production of Depot Street Studios and Rocket 88 Broadcasting. Music is from Storyblocks.com.